So what is emotional intelligence? It really does start with awareness, and this is something to think about in yourself, as well as something to be aware of when you're working with your clients. And I can say this from a place of coming from deep denial, and this is why coaches can be so amazing, because they're able to hold a mirror up to us when we are not able to see it ourselves. Because once we have that awareness, wow, oh my God, I'm doing this thing, or I'm living this life and it's not serving me, or this behavior is really dysfunctional, then we're empowered to be able to change it. But we can't until we have that awareness. So it starts with that deep self-inquiry, and then we have that understanding. And we see a lot with clients and students is that they can see that there are things happening in their life or decisions that they are making, and they don't know why. So that is, again, where a coach can help, is when we get that understanding of, where is this coming from? Why am I responding in this way? And emotional intelligence, at the heart of it, is an ability to be able to self-manage and take self-responsibility. So this is no longer blaming someone else for what has happened to us, or quite the opposite, which was definitely the behavior I came from, which was everything is my fault. I'm to blame here. I'm like, you know, and that apologizing for everything. I'm apologizing for breathing. But it's about understanding, where is it where we can take self-responsibility for our lives and the actions that we make, and when are we beating ourselves up? So that's self-management. And relationships in our life are a great highlight to our stuff. You know, it's all very well and easy to be on the side of a mountain by yourself, being all spiritual and, you know, enlightened, but actually the work comes when we come into connection with someone else. And so our relationships, a great thing to look at in ourselves and with our clients is, what are the patterns with our relationships, with our parents, with our friends, with our siblings, with our work colleagues? What is the theme that runs through it? Are we continuously apologizing? Are we getting into arguments? Is there constant drama? So having that self-inquiry about what our relationships are like can really start to help us have that awareness of what we are doing, which is the first one. Developing empathy. So from a coaching perspective, there's a real difference between sympathy and empathy. Sympathy can be quite patronizing, and it's also it's like guessing what someone is going through and not being able to see that they are an individual and you are an individual, and being able to see it from their point of view. It's taking on their point of view. That's more of a sympathy. And empathy is that being able to stand in your own autonomy and to be able to see another person. So again, if you are constantly rescuing, or if there are people in your life that are constantly rescuing, that is more of a sympathy place. And empathy is more about that holding space of being able to witness someone in pain or in their stuff or whatever it is. Emotional intelligence definitely has boundaries. Boundaries is a huge topic, and it takes years and years of development. And I mean, I'm still working with my own boundaries. It's one of those
every day. It's an everyday challenge, right?
It's an everyday challenge. I do love boundaries, but it is a big part of emotional intelligence, and many people don't have boundaries. And you'll find this with your clients, especially the ones who are super stressed and are just burning themselves out. It's often because they don't have boundaries in place. Being able to communicate effectively. So this is coming back to being able to take ownership. It's not coming into blame. When you're coming into a relationship, when we have emotional intelligence, we're able to communicate clearly without drama, and overcoming challenges without drama. So I always believed that the secret to life was to not have any challenges, to just have everything lovely. But actually, life doesn't work that way, and challenges are a part of life. So what we are looking to do with emotional intelligence is to overcome the challenges, but without drama. So with effective communication, with implementing our boundaries, with taking self-responsibility, by understanding what has happened, looking to make change in our lives to do things differently. I think that's a good sum up of what is emotional intelligence.
It is. I just want to add into there though, because actually the self-forgiveness it's like self-love and boundaries. That's the two big key things that we talk about a lot: self-love and boundaries, self-love and boundaries. And so then I guess once we have a lot of this in place, a step on from empathy really is developing compassion, real compassion. Again, not that sympathy, and not just being able to understand what it's like, but actually how do I become a living embodiment of compassion at all times. But it can be such it can, you hear it so much in the self-development world, like I'm just this living embodiment of compassion, but there are no boundaries, and there's no fire, there's no fierce love, there's no self-responsibility. It's all just really vague, and actually real emotional intelligence is the opposite of that. It's incredibly clear, it's incredibly boundaried, and it can be fierce for the right reason.